So, fun fact, do you know that cats can live until they're 70 years old? What do you think of that?
What the?
Think it's true? You don't think it's true? Well, how old can they live?
Well, the longest cat that's actually lived is about 40.
Yeah, you're right. 40 years. 40 years. That's the longest living cat was 40. Guess what we're talking about?
Hyundai!
Talk about today.
Elephants?
Elephants. No. We are talking about woof woofs. Dog. Learning stuff.
Rizky.
Dogs, it is suspected, were domesticated about 20,000 years ago. And that's 10,000 years before cats. Huh. Why do you think that is? Why would humans domesticate dogs before cats?
Well, because dogs were actually wolves.
Woofs?
Mm-hmm.
Woof woof? Oh, you mean a wolf? Like this. Here. Yeah. It's a wolf. How did wolves get to know people?
Well, because the first ever person actually met a wolf and actually was able to tame it
I see. How did he do that?
with a bone. Well, the first actual person actually met the dog.
One person met a dog one time,
Or like, I mean a wolf.
a wolf, and they made a deal.
No, they didn't make a deal.
Yeah. How'd that happen then?
Well, because I think, we don't know, I don't know.
Well, we don't know because there's no recorded history, but we can kind of guess that it must have been something to do with wolves that were predisposed genetically to be a little less afraid, right, of people, or afraid generally, and they got closer and closer to garbage dumps that people had. Because early people, once they had a semi-sedentary life, they would start to have garbage dumps where they would have bones and stuff, and the dogs would get closer to people. And they learned that they could have a relation to people eventually. And then what would have ended up happening was there would have been wolf babies found, and they were probably brought in and raised by humans. And the humans, and these wolf babies, would have been much more friendly towards humans because they were raised by them. You see? So that's probably how wolves got domesticated and turned into dogs initially. So, what was the point of domesticating dogs? How did this help people 20,000 years ago?
Well, they would actually be able to be helped by because horses wouldn't be able to like bring them to place on the snow when it was winter.
Oh, I see. So the horses were just for the summer, and they had the dogs in the winter.
Because the dogs could be, because the wolves could actually be much faster in the snow.
It's an interesting idea, except for two problems. Number one, horses were domesticated much, much later than dogs. We were still eating horses when we had domesticated dogs. Secondly, traveling on snow was not really an important thing. People didn't really live far north at that time. Now, dogs are a little different from cats. How are dogs different from cats?
Well, because dogs actually are more that think that actually humans are actually their pack.
Ah, pack is a key word. And that's probably why dogs are much better or seem to be more friendly with humans, because they see humans as kind of part of a family, because dogs will live in packs, whereas cats won't.
Well, when two animals meet each other, well, sometimes when two animals are the same, a male one and a female female one, I mean, will actually mate and actually make a different, might actually change the species a little bit.
Yes, because
Their DNA is slightly different.
and will become.
Into a new type of DNA.
It'll become mixed into the and will make a new animal which will be slightly different. That's right. So this is how change happens very slowly. And this is how species can change very slowly over time, and how all change has happened very slowly over time. Now, with dog species, it's different. It's different. Wolves are all kind of the same, aren't they? Pretty much. But dog species are quite different. There's something called artificial selection. Now, there's natural selection, which means it happens in nature over long periods of time. And there's artificial selection, which means it happens in a much shorter period of time. And it happens when humans take a dog with a little bit of a smushed nose like that, and they put it together with a girl dog with a little bit of a smushed nose, and now we've got two dogs with we've got a baby dog with a slightly smushed nose. Now you take that slightly smushed nose dog and it grows up, and you give it a mate with another male or female dog with a slightly smushed nose, and over time you've got a bulldog. You see? And that's called artificial selection. Right? Now, all domesticated animals have been artificially selected by humans to have certain traits which are advantageous to people. You see? Sheep. Do they have long legs or short legs? What's good about sheep with short legs?
Well, because they would be able to...
They wouldn't be able to do what?
They wouldn't be able to run fast or jump over the gates.
Okay, so humans selected out shorter-legged sheep, and over a long period of selecting out these sheep for short legs and breeding them with other short-legged sheep, you get a breed of sheep with short legs every time. That's